So, hi everyone. We are going to go through a bit of a rocky patch, I feel. So, let's talk about it. So, hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like and comment. Also, links below to accredited education if you want to learn. Free to start 4-hour course, crack on. Now, depending on who you believe and who you look at and who you watch and who you see and all kinds of Twitter or YouTube, people are going, oh my god, it's like the world's ending. The Bitcoin is going to be banned by the people in the government. No. If you're in the UK, things are going to change a little bit. But I want to go through a few little factors in this legal jargon from my experience, from my previous job as a police officer, and most importantly, what the words say on the screen. It is not a full blanket ban on every single CFD futures product. That would indicate, one, the likes of eToro, the likes of Plus 500, the likes of IG, etc. will have to cease completely Bitcoin trading on their platforms. Very unlikely to happen. This is all around futures, realistically, on the marketing, the sale and distribution from UK firms only, as it reads. So, as we know, futures are a bit wishy-washy. We know that. They're not the greatest, but in the UK, they're trying to combat a bit of a scam going around where they are fake exchanges going around, which are taking people's money. Estimated around 53 million has been taken in investment scams of this ilk, right? 53 million in my eyes is not much, in my personal opinion. When you consider a bad day on BitMEX, a bad day on Binance, whatever, where liquidation stations everywhere, it's like, ooh, we've just lost $1 billion there, boys and girls, oops. You know, different kettle of fish. So, the main paragraph you need to focus on this is this. Okay, I'll highlight it because this is the important bit. To address these harms, the FCA has made rules banning the sale, marketing and distribution to all retail consumers of any derivatives, so CFDs, options and futures, and ETNs that reference unregulated, transferable cryptocurrency assets, essentially like anything contract related, by firms acting in or from the UK. Firms, i.e. if you have an exchange. So if you're watching this video and you've got an exchange and you're offering CFDs, you're offering futures, very unlikely, but that would indicate to you. That is a small pool of people. I personally cannot recommend and mention any unregulated cryptocurrency assets that are selling futures in the market. It's quite a small number. This is why I think people have taken this too far out of context and made it a complete and utter blanket ban. Now, if you go on other exchanges, obviously, the likes of Bybit, the likes of OKX, the likes of Binance, whatever else it is, I can't remember these days. They all say what banned countries it is, what restricted countries, etc. That would happen to us if these rules change, i.e. a full blanket ban. Retail cannot use futures in any country. It doesn't mention that. It only mentions from the UK. So, until we start seeing the likes of Bybit and the likes of Binance doing bans on UK residents entering their ecosystem, we're okay. Simple as that. So, yes, it is a bad reflection. It looks bad. People have been kind of taking this out of context. They've basically read the full bit and go, oh, it's a ban in the sale of. You just got to look. The sale of that. Derivatives and exchange traded notes. Anyways, on this as well, it is obviously mainstream. It's huge. You know, people are kind of looking at this, but there's more news coming and that has already been hit. Just to give you a pointer, we've had all kinds of bad news. It's been like it's like 3 buses at once where you wait for ages for one bit of information. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, hello, 3 buses. Ooh. So with that in mind, we need to talk a little bit about this. This is big news, even though I've covered it before. 1st of October, BitMEX, boom, US charges, boom, prevention of money laundering, boom, one of the biggest exchanges, boom, arresting the potential founders that have been accused of it, boom. That's huge news. When you then consider what's happened in the White House, Donald Trump has got COVID, oops. that's kind of a bit of a shock to the system. We've also got the FCA banning UK derivative consumers from entering their UK platforms. Boom. But what else could happen? Well, we've got a huge correlation still with the S&P 500, all kinds of other exchanges in the index funds. Now, with this in mind, this is obviously an older article, but the correlation is still there. If the stock market crashes, we go with it. Simple as that. There's no amount of TA is going to change that opinion, okay? If Donald Trump, and he has been very, very vocal, if he starts tweeting little tippy-tappy things going, oh, just take the Dettol, obviously he's trying to portray an image that he's basically Superman, that he got COVID, he's beating it within 3 days. Ooh, cool. But there's other things I want to talk about as well, which is vitally important we understand in terms of market relation, sentiment, essentially, people's panic stations, essentially, what's going to come in the next coming weeks. And I'm going to explain in a second. But we need to understand this. If you are watching and looking at the chart and you are always wondering, oh my God, I like this altcoin, it's going to do well. Look at me with Zilliqa, look at me with DOT, look at me with other coins. I rate them for the long term. But I understand that in the next short-term period, in the next 3 to 6 months, it might be absolutely shocking. Does that change the landscape of what coin I've invested in? No. Does it change one thing? Yes, price. What does that mean? I can buy more. Ooh. Because I feel there's going to be a big, massive shitstorm coming. I'm going to explain why. When you look at this, the news has came out already. Now, if you're watching this news, in this video on the 7th of October, at roughly 7:30, you may actually understand what's kind of happened if this news keeps coming out. There is a stall on talks with stimulus. Stimulus, tether prints, and other market manipulation has pegged the markets up due to said coronavirus, due to said election coming, and obviously to keep the economy afloat, to keep businesses, keep jobs as much as they can. It's all manipulation. Now, what does that mean for us? There's going to be a lagging effect, there's going to be a bit of a dump, there's going to be a massive unemployment, but the stimulus is required, and I want to explain one bit of news on here. This is interesting because obviously this is huge. The crucial stimulus talks, which are, in my opinion, crucial to the economy going round as it stands right now, that's what's kind of made it pump, have been called off until after the election. However, what happened during the night, and I'll find this article, it's on here somewhere, I'm pretty sure it's on here somewhere. He basically said, there you go, this one. He basically said, essentially what happened was, when that news came out, the markets tanked last night. They tanked massively. If you look at the futures, they dropped massively. But he also said that night as well, a few hours later, he is willing to pass independent coronavirus relief measures, including a round of stimulus checks, hours after pushing the pause button, essentially. So what is that in his head? He's just always thinking, I want the market to be high, especially for the election. He's already voted and said on that as not voted, by the way. On his Twitter, he went, vote, stock market high. It's all designed to show him in a positive light. So what does this mean for us? Well, we're in a range as it stands right now, 4-hour time frame. We've been in this range for quite a while, in and out of it. It's been pretty crap. But when you start looking a bit further afield and looking at this massive swing, now, it's in my opinion, it's obvious. This is high. I think we will retrace. I've said this for ages. But the reason why I'm saying we will retrace, not because Bitcoin's crap or anything like that, it's not, it's the obvious. It is the fact that it is so correlated between the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, etc. and obviously other market makers, because they've got a big hand in this situation. Now, when you start looking at the DJI, what's happened this morning is crazy. Already, we've had a pop-up. This is the futures, by the way. So yesterday, boom. This morning, oh, actually, he's had a change of heart. It's all hopium. It's all news-related. And what they say is, you cannot beat Donald Trump's tweets. You cannot. If your technical analysis is on point, it's like, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden goes, drops a big old atomic bomb on you, you're kind of knackered. So what does this mean for us? Well, I think we're going to carry on going. But I think once they rule out completely stimulus in the next coming months, I think it's going to be shitstorm central. I just have that horrible feeling that the economy is just going to nosedive. People will bag their profits and just basically hide under a rock for 2 years or whatever until it all blows over. I think it will be that sort of situation. I've got a feeling it's going to be a horrible situation. Does this mean it's bearish for Bitcoin? Probably not, no. Not all the way. Fundamental-wise, the likes of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, etc., we should be okay. We should be okay. In hindsight, we should be. But we've got to think as well, fundamental-wise, it's not always going to mark up because it's all sentiment behaviour. It's always going to be interesting to see how people react. But if people are reacting to the fact that Donald Trump has said, oh, stimulus talks are on the edge at the minute, we're not going to talk about it, and the market reacted like that, that's kind of scary to think that what could happen when you can't just keep belt feeding money into markets. It's going to ruin everything. So overall, market sentiment, even if you're looking at the likes of the world of dominance, it popped up massively yesterday because it was a bit of a dump. The markets dumped yesterday. The altcoins fell off a cliff a little bit. Big old correction. Is it bearish long term? No. It's just one of those things. We just cannot control how the sentiment is. So, let's see what happens in the next coming months. But what I would say, top tip to anyone who's kind of investing in this space, hold on to your hat because I think it's going to get a bit ropey. I've got a feeling that when everything is confirmed and kind of in the open, it's going to be like, uh-oh, let's see what happens, because reactions are going to be key, and I think there will be a lot of people dumping on us, essentially, especially the big investments. But we'll see. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, obviously, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, I've been waffling. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what reaction comes out soon.